Welcome to the GSMC Pets Podcast, the show that caters to pet lovers of all kinds. We'll talk about pets on social media, pets doing amazing things, and how to take care of the pets in your life. Whether your pet is a dog, a cat, a llama, hamster, reptile, or something more exotic, you'll find educational and entertaining information on the GSMC Pets Podcast.
Howdy, and thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Pets Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am Sam, and my little bunny Aizen is hanging out on the desk, and he is just chilling out. But it makes it difficult because he's where my laptop is supposed to be. So, kind of improvising here. Now, today I really wanted to talk about something that I think a lot of us as kids kind of did. And it was, maybe in your elementary school class you saw like a book that your teacher may have passed around and it said Guinness Book of World Records, right? So I remember that me and a bunch of other kids would like go through the book and we'd say, oh my gosh, I really like that. And you know what? I bet I can do that. And I'll beat this world record and I'll be in the book then. So, it was just definitely something that kids in my class did. And, including myself. And I'll be honest, every single time that I tried one, I mostly just got bored of it and stopped. Because I didn't want to try anymore. Because some of these things require you to be very active. And, well, I was like a little runner in elementary school for the Junior Olympics, but that's sprinting is a very different thing when it comes to really saving your energy. So I wanted to talk about just a few of these pets, starting from the largest tongue, which is going to be surprising, and then ending on something that I'll kind of let you in on, and it's basically think, what can a dog do with a scooter? So, let's get started.
So I figured we could start off with the dog that has the world's longest tongue. Yeah, canine tongue. And just, the current holder of it, because it was previously held by a boxer named Brandy. Well, I'll hold off on telling you the length of that. But we are going to talk about Mochi Mo Rickert. And she is a St. Bernard from South Dakota. She was actually a rescue at this place where it focused primarily on larger dogs. So I think it was 100 pounds and up. So no pets that were under 100 pounds, was in this location. So that already is like, well, I need to find out where that is. But the really interesting thing about Mo is that she officially measured at 7.3 inches. So if you want, you could take out a measuring tape or something and just pull out 7.3 inches and see exactly what that looks like. And I guess all the better to lick peanut butter, because Mo actually really loves peanut butter, and she has had a wonderful life with her new family. There are some drawbacks to having such a large tongue, and that is, kind of a difficulty with breathing, extra slobber when she's nervous, dirt, dust, and leaves sticking on her tongue, and then also, and I'm not definitely surprised by it, but the ability to pick up things from the floor, I imagine that the tongue really makes it difficult to do that. Not really sure like how I could describe it, but I don't know, just imagine that something is like hanging out of your mouth and you can't really have much control of that tongue. I would imagine that, at least. But like, she really loves posing for photos and snacking on sweet potatoes. That's what the owner says. And, well, she is still going strong. Let's see, what is going on with Mo still? So, in addition to Mo, I really did want to talk about Brandy. And I know I usually just focus on one animal for this, or, for a particular section, but I figured may as well talk about Brandy. Now, Brandy is actually, she passed in 2002, so her accomplishment is basically the longest canine tongue of all time, basically. Now, unfortunately, Mo won't get to that point because, well, Brandy is kind of hard to beat, to be honest, and I'll go ahead and say, take your tape measure again, and keep measuring, go past the 7.3, and you're gonna fall on 12.5. A foot and 5 inches. That is a big old tongue, and I cannot understand how in the world could a dog that size, like a boxer, is definitely not as big as a Saint Bernard. So in my mind, I'm thinking, how does this happen? And there probably is some genetic difficulties with these dogs that have such long tongues. And I mean, I'll say that Mo looks very adorable, but I kind of wonder how it's going to look like for her when she gets older. But she does really like to hang out. She looks like a chill dog, and just kind of put a little bit of this into perspective with her tongue. Maybe you guys are familiar with Jenga. So her tongue length is basically equal to 2.5 Jenga blocks in a row. So that is definitely a lot of surface area. I guess I could put it that way. But one of the things that I could guess that Mochi doesn't have a problem with would be drinking water, because, well, I remember seeing a study that was being played in like a Today show, the morning shows, and this is when I was, younger and stuff. So basically, they were showing which animal had the most efficient way of drinking water. And I know this is like a rabbit hole, going down the rabbit hole, but like cats would kind of lick up a little bit of water, and then they would bite down and catch the water with their mouth. And, well, dogs just kind of went all out and started lapping up all the water with their tongue. And I kind of wonder if you have a larger tongue, are you gonna take in more water, or are you going to be struggling a lot? I'm also thinking about how Mochi would probably be maybe having problems eating, especially when it says over here that she needs help picking up stuff from the ground. And food is on the ground, unless they have like one of those raised dog bowls for her. That would be smart, actually. Honestly, I think for most dogs that is a pretty good idea to do. And, well, I do have to say that one of the things that really makes me not want to have a Saint Bernard, even though I would love to have one, would be just the slobber that kind of comes with the Saint Bernard. And let me note again, Mo has like a problem where she has extra slobber when she's nervous. Extra slobber. So it kind of frightens me how that could really look. And I kind of wonder if, like, this length of the tongue also leads to, like, more slobber in dogs that typically you don't see slobber very much. But it seems cute. I mean, this picture of Mochi is really adorable, and I would suggest checking it out. I would say that her patterning is not the same as a typical St. Bernard, which might be like a hint to us that maybe there's something going on genetically with her. Again, I can't really explain much for Brandy, the boxer, because, well, I don't have an article in front of me about Brandy, but I do know for sure that the current holder is Mochi, and if Brandy were alive today, well, Mochi would be dethroned, and then we would have a picture of a dog with 12.5 inches long tongue, pretty much. It's very interesting how to look into this, and I'm always very conscientious about, like, where exactly this type of dog is in, the United States, Europe, where else, different parts of Asia. I just can't really see the St. Bernards doing well in, like, tropical weather for the most part. I mean, so being in South Dakota is a pretty smart idea for Mochi. And gosh, just so much about this dog. And, like, as she gets older, I can imagine, just her drinking a lot of water all the time. And maybe settling down, but that kind of would be attributed to her breathing challenges and just, well, mostly that. Everything else seems to be livable. But just, there's Mo for you. But yeah, definitely Google a picture of Mo Rickards, and yeah, send us any reviews about it. We'd love to see what you have to say. Maybe your pet has a super long tongue, and maybe it's more than 7.3 inches. Yeah, consider that. So we are going to go on a brief break, and, well, what am I going to talk about next? Well, let's see. We talked about Mochi, and now we're going to talk about the love of the tennis ball. So, I am going to let y'all go for the commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America's Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America's Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
And welcome back. We were just talking about Mo, the dog with the longest tongue, the living winner of that. And we had Brandy, who was like the all-time dog with largest tongue. And again, that was 12.5 inches, which is insane. But we need to talk about something else. And I kind of wonder if maybe this dog that we're about to talk to might have a shorter tongue and has, a little more space in the mouth. Because I don't know. have a little story time. I was staying with my mother-in-law a few years ago, and, well, it was an extended stay, so I decided, to get some tennis balls for one of her dogs. And, well, this dog loves just balls in general, but she didn't have any for some weird reason. She may have just lost them all. So I went to Walmart and I grabbed a giant tube of tennis balls that were pink. I remember that in particular. Went back to her place, and then we basically had a party of us just tossing all the balls at Roxy. Roxy's the dog. And she loved it so much. But the thing is that Roxy does not have anything on this dog. And this dog's name is Finley Malloy. And, well, she basically fit the most tennis balls in her mouth. And that is, you want to know how many? 6. Part of me wonders, how did you get the rest of it out? So when you were done with that. And I started thinking about this. My husband and I are watching Cheers right now. And I'm reminded of a character, Lilith, one of the psychiatrists that frequents the Cheers bar. And she stuffed her entire fist in her mouth, and then she couldn't get it out in one of their little cold openings. So I honestly think of that whenever I think of people just kind of putting as much stuff in their mouth. I'd love to see how this wonderful little golden retriever just got free of these balls, but I'm looking at the picture and it seems like she has just such a wide mouth. Yeah. I just don't know, but Finley loves to swim and play fetch and chasing, the occasional animal. But she's very active in the backyard, and just a dog that loves to have fun. And that's what it looks like to me. Now, we also tried to do this tennis ball thing with Reggie, not putting in as many tennis balls, because the girl will just eat everything still. But we did get all these tennis balls, dropped it for her, and she just went wild. So there's definitely something about tennis balls that just drive dogs crazy. And I mean, gosh, 6 total tennis balls, and those are fist-sized, right? Yeah, I think they're fist-sized. So it's very interesting to just look at this picture of Finley and just be amazed at all of those things in her mouth. Just, I don't know. But she was granted this place in the Guinness Book of World Records about the 23rd of February, this year. So that's definitely is a nice throne to have on. And I wonder if there are other dogs that can do that too. I'll be honest, I think Reggie could do it. And I'm not being like one of those kids that I was telling you about. If you've seen this dog, she has this giant great white shark kind of jaw, but also kind of morphed into a frog's mouth, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I can imagine her putting as much stuff as she can in her mouth, and then probably trying to swallow it, and us having to pull everything out of her mouth before she actually did that. But yeah, I can definitely see, I think 6 balls would be doable for her. Maybe. My next question for this is, how did they manage to get Finley to stay still? I mean, I know that golden retrievers are very trainable, and I don't even know, they're the angel of dogs, I guess. And just, I can't imagine just a dog being able to sit that long while people are just pushing stuff in your face. I imagine that Finley got a lot of treats after this, and the family probably has their nice little copy of the Guinness book with Finley just kind of bookmarked, and they're keeping him on at the coffee table or something. And yeah, I can just imagine that, actually. I think I would do that. It's like, hello, welcome to my house. Would you like to look at this Guinness Book of World Records? My dog is in there. So, yeah, I could definitely see that. But again, I'm like, how is it not stuck in their mouth? And I wonder what other kinds of stuff people have given their dogs to, just kind of keep in their mouths and stuff. I mostly think of peanut butter because that was something that my dad used to do for one of our pets in the past. Like, just gave her like a huge dollop of peanut butter, put it in her mouth, and then she just was quiet for the rest of the day, pretty much. But peanut butter's a bit difficult to remove, whereas with tennis balls, all you gotta do is spit it up. And I can imagine that not many dogs would spit up peanut butter either, unless the dog is kind of like I don't know. Well, unless the dog was like roadie and had a heart condition and stuff. But I would also recommend that you go to Google, check out this dog. His name is Finley Malloy, and he is from the United States. Total number of balls in his mouth, 6. That's a pretty good number, honestly. If only there was 7, so it can go for, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That is me being very particular. But yeah, I just kind of want to know more about this dog. The comments over here for Finley is just overwhelmingly wonderful. Like, good job, pup. Such a good boy. Nailed it. I would definitely say that Finley definitely did nail it. Like, oh, best boy, deserves all the balls. Yes, I would agree with that. But I do kind of wonder, like, what other kinds of balls that we can use. I know with baseballs, it would probably not have as much give as a tennis ball, so he would have fewer balls in his mouth. But how many? Surely not that much. I would possibly say 4. Maybe 5. But probably it's something for me to research in the future, because I'm officially interested. Officially. So, if anyone has any information about Finley Malloy, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And also, if you have a dog that likes to put stuff in his mouth, see how much, challenge yourself, challenge your dog, and see how many tennis balls they can fit in their mouth. And, who knows, maybe your dog will end up in the records book, right? That'd be really cool. And then you could always go to your friend's place and say, hey, check out my dog in this book. World record breaker. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go on another break, and next we are going to be talking about the world's largest cat. Yes. We always have to talk about large cats, and I could probably change the title of this, but it's mostly dogs in this conversation. So, I'll give you that break, and then we'll talk about this cat. Alright?
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hey, welcome back. We were just talking about the wonderful activity of giving your dog a bunch of tennis balls and seeing how much they can fit in their mouth, which is usually pretty entertaining, but make sure you do that very carefully because you don't want to hurt your dog. But now we are going to talk about the world's longest cat, the world's longest living cat, and his name is Barraville, and I'm going to give you like 3 seconds. What kind of cat do you think Barraville is? Right? 3, 2, 1. Okay, Barraville is, surprise, a Maine Coon. So, we already know that this cat is huge. And looking at the picture of his mom, she is just kind of holding him and she's stretching out all the way. And it feels like there's more coming out of him. I don't know. But apparently, Barraville is longer than like a baseball bat. Now, we will not talk about weight because we can't weight shame this cat, and also it's not listed on the information. So, we can definitely say though that this cat, now think baseball bat, 3 feet and 11.2 inches. Wow. That is a very big boy. And at the time of this, of his inclusion into the record book, he was like 2 years old. So, I mean, at that point, he's done growing. Maybe he might grow a smidgen, but I think that they will be happy at 3 feet and no more. But great thing about Barraville is that he is living a great life. He lives in Italy and just kind of lives a very nice, pampered life. He eats plenty of biscuits and chicken and fish, and he's also like taken out for walks in a buggy. So a lot of him, and I mean like a lot of this cat, matter-wise, is actually on social media, and he has an Instagram account that is not linked over here, but I'm quite sure you may be able to find them. But yeah, he has an Instagram because, well, his pet parents were so excited and they were just inspired to just give him like a place to be big. And I guess that kind of works because right now they're meeting a lot of people through Instagram, and like there's so many people around here that are actually shocked to see how big this boy is. He's such a big boy. Such a big boy. But oh my gosh, they have actually put an update here for Barraville. Barraville is still growing and may become even longer. For now, he safely holds the record among his fellow felines. So, this now makes me wonder, where exactly does the other cat fall? Because there was one that, that's suggested was longer than him. So, we can do some little digging and see what we find. And there we are. Okay. This cat is also a Maine Coon, and, he actually passed away in like 2013, so that kind of opened up the way for for another cat to just kind of take over that title. Now, it says over here that he was 48.5 inches long. Can you imagine that? That is a big boy. Now, this cat has a very interesting name. I'm probably not even going to say it right, but his name is Mymans Stewart Gilligan, and he just goes by Stewie. So, I'm just kind of awed at how big he looks. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but like lynxes, he makes me think of that. And, of course, this is something I'll just randomly plug in, but I would also suggest that you guys just search for this short video, and it's of basically two lynxes interacting with each other. Just be prepared for something strange. It's all G-rated, I promise you this. But check it out. It's pretty interesting. I thought it was kind of funny. But who knows? I have a very weird sense of humor. But, gosh. I want to know how much this cat weighs. Gosh. I know Aizen kind of like stretches out like that, but not that much. And I can imagine that maybe, just kind of looking at the size, that maybe Stewie was around 25 pounds. I think that's a good guess. Whereas with Baraval, I'd say like a 20. Maybe 18 to 20, I'll say that. But yeah, just 3 feet, 11.2 inches versus the 48 inches that Stewie is at. And that's crazy. And, you know, all the time whenever there's a very interesting kind of animal, there's always something that is going to be like holding them back because of this thing that makes them special. And I'm not saying that's bad. It's just that there could possibly be more complications because, well, this cat is really big. There might be something going on with just his inner organs or any chemicals in his body that just kind of flip around. I don't know. Same thing, well, I wonder how Stewie passed, but I'm assuming it's from old age. But overall, I would say that I want to know where the other cats are, because it sounds exciting. And I wonder if there's like a club for Maine Coon owners where they kind of share like the progress of their Maine Coons when they're growing up. So starting, oh, here's my new kitten, and then just kind of tracking that, and then everyone getting along, drinking tea, or, you know, having biscuits that Baravel has. And I would really, really love to meet Baravel. But I'll go ahead and say in the picture that they have on this website for him, he looks very aloof. His mom, yeah, she seems very happy. She's holding him and letting him stretch out, but yeah, I don't think Baravel really cares for that at all. And that's okay. That is the world of cats, to be honest, and just have to get over it, right? But just from there, it's very, gosh, I wonder what the smallest cat is. Maybe for another episode. But, you know, actually, no. We're going to do this now. Smallest cat. Alright. What is the smallest breed of cat? Singapura. Half the size of an average cat, possessing a kitten size throughout their lives. Their bodies are petite, delicate, and they usually don't weigh more than 5 pounds. Wow. Makes me think of my coworker's new dog. She was like 5 pounds for like the first several months that they had her. And my God, they're so tiny. How can they live? I don't know. But, let's see. Is there a specific cat? No, I'm not seeing any specific cats. I don't know if they actually search for that. But, yeah, Singapura is the type of cat that is probably, well, it's definitely going to keep looking like a kitten for quite a while. And, hey, that's pretty cool. There's also like a rusty spotted cat to look at. And I don't know if I'll be surprised or not, but the world's second smallest cat, the black-footed cat, smallest wild cat. Yeah, there you go. But anyway, I am going to let you guys go for another break, and, well, then we are going to be talking about something, also pretty interesting and fun, and that is going to be the tale of the dog with the longest tail. So, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea? Then, the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
Howdy, we are back, and we are just talking about, the largest Maine Coon, and we talked also about how many balls this one dog could hold in his mouth, and then we also had Mo, the wonderful St. Bernard. So, we're going to move on to another thing, and I'm going to hold off on naming this dog. I will go ahead and say he's an Irish Wolfhound, and just if you know anything about them, or if you know just one thing about them, you would probably know that those boys are big boys. So, just kind of a huge thing about them is that they can stand really, really tall. So height is like 32 inches minimum for a male, 30 inches minimum for a female. Weight, 120 pounds for a male, 105 pounds for a female. And they unfortunately have a very small life expectancy, like 6 to 8 years. It's just because, well, the larger the animal is, it generally means that it kind of cuts a little bit of life out of them. And that's what happened to Rhodey. He had a big heart, and then, well, his unfortunate heart failed on him. So, let's see. Temperament. Courageous, dignified, and calm. Oh my gosh, I would love one. I've actually been dreaming of... Okay, I love my big dogs. I love St. Bernards, and I love the Irish Wolfhound. Those are like my two major ones that I adore. But, yeah. So, the Irish Wolfhound is like a really muscular hound that's really built, kind of like a greyhound in a way. Very, very fast dog, and I would say that Irish Wolfhounds are too sincere to be fierce guard dogs, but they can be a bit, a good deterrent for like any types of intruders. So they're patient with kids, and like their size should be, with their size they should be watched over whenever it's just with kids.
I would say that for the most part, we have a big old dog, and they're very sweet in the face. Kind of makes me think of Tramp in the Lady and Tramp movie. Not the other version, the most recent version, but the version, the animated show. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about when I see this dog. So a huge thing for them is they have a double coat. So that means like a harsh, wiry outer coat, and then that covers the soft undercoat. So you definitely need to be brushing this dog, or else you're going to have a lot of dirt, grime, and eventually matting of the fur, which you don't really want. So what exactly is this wolfhound known for, right? So, this is going to be interesting. The dog's name is Kaon, and let's see, his tail, and again, if you want to take out the measuring tape, take it out. His tail is 30.2 inches long, from the top of the bone to the tip of the tail. Yeah. And you remember, maybe you had a family member that had a dog that really liked wagging its tail, and he was a big dog, so he would be knocking his tail everywhere. Yeah, I would definitely say that make sure that Kaon is under control and be aware that this very long tail can really break about anything. And, I mean, I'm not sure what it is about docking tails. Like, I do not support it at all. But yeah, in this case, could docking be a possibility? I know that for a full-grown dog, like, removing a part of their tail is going to be a little bit different. They're still going to have like a little, kind of a little nub that's a little bit larger, but they won't be able to like go to the very base of the tail and remove it. I think it's mostly because of like nerve endings that happen that are kind of clustered around this tail area. And well, the older the dog gets, the more likely these nerve endings will like really start to come together pretty much. So that's not kind of amazing. That is amazing. Gosh, I can't believe that there's such a thing as a very large dog like this. So let's see. This dog has also broken the previous record of the longest tail on a dog. So, and this other dog was also a wolfhound. So that would be, let's see, he won over this other wolfhound by 1.7 inches. So really big tails. And I don't know if you guys have seen like images of like people greeting their wolfhound. Like the dog like stands up on his hind legs and then he just kind of stretches and it can put its paws on the shoulders. And like he stands taller than the owner, which is pretty amazing. So let's see. Man, Kaon is an Irish name that means courageous warrior, but his owner, Ilse Lutz, says that he's a gentle giant. And that always seems to be the case, right? I mean, you can even think of like Great Danes. Like, I've met so many sweet Great Danes, and they don't, I would say that they're generally good guard dogs, but the second you get into one of their hearts, it's like, okay, forget all about this. I am all about this Great Dane. So, I would love to see more Irish Wolfhounds. I know that my husband would never agree to get such a big dog, but I don't even know how I could convince him. And just kind of, again, looking at that tail, it is freaking big. I'm not gonna say it's a monstrosity, but it's almost longer than his legs. How is this possible? Gosh. Anyway, I don't really think we'll be getting a wolfhound anytime soon. So I guess I'll just have to silently wait until I gets to ask my husband, that's for sure. But yeah, drawbacks for, this wonderful dog is that, well, especially with how long his tail is, just how high it's going to be. Like, this is a big dog, which means that a lot of surfaces he has access to. So you can imagine a lot of broken dishes, things being knocked over, and just a general mess, just because the tail might be wagging. Just very, very sad. And, honestly, the other thing is that, just the lifespan of the dog is very, it's kind of sad, but I imagine that those are some great times, and I want to know more about these Irish Wolfhounds. Like, I mean, it looks like they would probably do well to be in a house full of active people, just because, like, the bigger an animal is, like, the more likely they'll want to, like, go and do stuff. That's at least my experience. But, yeah, I just don't really know what's going on here. The smartest dog in the world? Interesting. Well, I'll think about it. I'm thinking sun, ocean, nice waves, like, kind of undulating in the, in the space. And then maybe some surfers just kind of catching some good waves and just kind of having a grand old time. Well, surprise, we're going to be talking about that. Hashtag salt life, maybe. And, well, then we'll be talking about the most interesting dog, and that would be Abby Girl, the surfing dog. So we will be right back, and we will get to talk about this little girl.
The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast, the show that gives you advice on everything travel. We explore places you've always wanted to go, as well as giving tips for traveling in those places. We'll give you advice on the best sites for travel tips, information, and discounts. Join us as we travel the world, explore cultures, and meet new people. The Golden State Media Concepts Travel Podcast has got you covered. Download the GSMC Travel Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back. We were just talking about Irish Wolfhounds and how this one guy, Kaon, has the longest tail out of any dog in the world, which is pretty amazing just to kind of see the pictures and definitely check him out. Now, as I promised, we were going to be starting to talk about this little girl, Abby Girl, the surfing dog. So, first off, I will say that even though I grew up near a beach, I have no idea about anything when it comes to, surfboards and those little boogie boards. Yeah, I don't really do that. But I do enjoy the idea of being out in the water and just kind of enjoying the sun, and that is actually something that Abby Girl likes. Now, what exactly has Abigail done? Abby Girl. What has she done
Well, I'll give you a hint. It involves surfing. It's actually the longest wave surfed by a dog in open water. So, let's see, surfing like 107.2 miles and, meters. And then 351 feet and 8 inches. Yeah. Wow. So, that was like at Ocean Beach in San Diego, and then that was on October 18, 2011. So that big span, 351 feet and 8 inches. That is amazing. And one of the very interesting things is that the owner of Abby Girl, well, he just kind of took her to surf at the beach basically all the time. And, sometimes Abby would come and just kind of enjoy the waves and stuff. But she then jumped on the surfboard one day and she was able to balance herself pretty well. And, that kind of works well because, well, she is a Kelpie, and that's like an Australian dog breed. And, they are known for, rounding up sheep and just kind of creating order. So, occasionally jumping on the backs of the stubborn individuals, like a sheep, she would steer them back while balancing on top of them. So, these dogs are very, very good at balance, which is absolutely necessary when it comes to surfing. Now, Abigail had a slow, sad start. She was a rescue, 5 years old. Not really a clear reason for why she was there, but the owner, his name is Michael, decided to try to build her confidence through going to the beach and meeting other dog owners, which is a really great thing that most dog parents should be doing. And unfortunately, with lockdown and stuff, we can't really do that, unfortunately. But yeah, just this little dog was able to just kind of flourish and find herself by just following Michael, her human friend, around. And that seems really sweet. And I'm going to go ahead and say there's an adorable picture of Abigail on the internet, and you have to see it. She's wearing a little life jacket, and it's a kind of lime green color, and then also I would say a light green. I'm not sure what kind of green, but it's a light green, and she's wearing a green lifesaver, and she's just kind of sitting there looking extremely natural at this, and I'm so glad that she was able to build enough confidence and was brave enough to hop onto the surfboard and just kind of get used to it. So she still loves to surf, and well, nowadays Abby attends local dog surfing competitions, and well, of course, Abigail is probably a mermaid in disguise, but she's always in the water, it seems like. Now, what's really interesting? Just kind of reading about Abigail, I was just kind of reflecting back on just pets and surfing, and I just remembered Lilo and Stitch. They had a scene where they were just on the beach and they were surfing, and how Stitch was trying to balance on the surfboard, and he eventually got it. And I could imagine that's just a great amount of trust that he felt at that point, where he wasn't being pushed off or, yelled at or anything like that. It's just, hey, you are free and you are on a surfboard. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm trying to figure out, is that a longboard? Either way, a huge thing about that moment is just being able to balance and being able to have control of yourself. And just kind of thinking about how shy Abigail was.
I imagine that it took a great amount of courage, to be honest, and it's definitely more courage than I've ever had to do something like that. And she was actually given this award on October 18, 2011. There's no notes to show that any other pet has done this, but I imagine that there are a lot of people that find ways that find unorthodox ways to really help build their dog's confidence. And in our case, I would say for Regina, it's like her controlling herself because she gets really excited. So basically what we've started doing for her is just putting her leash on and just walking her out into the backyard. Like, it's all fenced in, but she just gets so excited and so wild. And we have neighbor dogs, and she just, just wants to get to them to play. And yeah, big dog barking at small dogs is never really a good sign, to be honest. But hey, at least she's learning control of herself. But that's only because she's also wearing a cone. So just kind of needing to reinforce that, show that she's being good and rewarding her for being good when she's out on the leash and when she's interacting with other dogs. And just, again, a happy dog is a tired dog and also a stimulated dog. So mentally stimulated as well. Because, well, you've seen a lot of dogs, maybe some dog shows where, like, they seem so tired after being trained for maybe like 15 minutes. And they're like, okay, I'm done. Please, just give me the treat. Please, oh please. I don't care if I am not supposed to get it. I want that treat. And I think, that's usually at the beginning of the training period, I suppose. But I have to say that Abby Girl seems like a really cool dog, and, well, surfers are always, kind of interesting. But I would love to see, like, any videos of Abby Girl, and I would love to see, like, any talents that your pets have. Currently, my pets don't have any talents, except for Cookie, and she likes screaming a lot. That is her talent. But, yeah, I'm giving you guys homework. So, I want to see, like, different kinds of cats, how big your cat is, does your dog go surfing with you, or are you, or you have a dog that has a very long tongue, or long tail, anything like that. That would be awesome. But, for now, I would say that these dogs that I've already talked about are pretty amazing. And, each and every one of them is special. And to be honest, our pets that don't make it to the, into the Guinness book, well, I mean, to us, they're very special, and they break a record every single day. Not a record player, not my vinyl. But, just breaking the record of just being there for you and being happy and comforting you when you need it. But now I'm getting all sentimental, and, well, we have our final break now. So, we are going to be talking about this one final thing, and as I remind you, it involves a dog and a scooter. That's all I'm leaving you with. Alright, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Alrighty then, I wanted to just kind of jump on into this one because, well, it's interesting to me, and I mean, it's an interesting looking dog. I don't know what, if anyone has seen one before or, is familiar with the name. I'm not familiar with the name, but I do know know that dog by sight. But anyway, this dog, his name is Norman. He is a Briard, which is kind of like a good mixture of like affability and being able to really herd different kinds of creatures, and they have very quick instincts apparently. And well, his mom is a professional dog trainer, and well, she saw that he was interesting looking, and she kind of wanted a challenge and, training a dog that she had never done before. Now, I would say though, that the talent that he has is very interesting. It's him riding a scooter. So he's referred to as Norman the Scooter Dog. So you have to look at the picture of this because he looks all prim and proper in it, and I love it so much. But yeah, it was definitely a very interesting approach, not approach, but a kind of interesting way to, move into a different path in life. And just, they keep on showing these posters of Norman just kind of going on his scooter. It is adorable. But he actually holds 2 Guinness World Record titles. And both of them, well, very memorable. So, just pretty much, he has 2 Shiba Inus, so two siblings, and there is like another pet that they have, but we're gonna focus on this. So she actually belayed getting Norman at first because she was starting her own family, and that seemed like a lot to handle. So I totally get it. But by the time she got had her second child, well, it was time to get Norman, or the dog that would be Norman. So she went, and it seems like she went to a responsible breeder for the dogs, and well, I guess that kind of worked out pretty well for him. So most of his lessons really happened in the flight back home. So he learned how, and this is a little puppy, so it's like learning how to sit, lay down, look, and how to come when called. So he was a very fast learner in this sense. And Karen, his mom, was amazed at how different he was compared to other dogs, which is very true. But she takes Norman like anywhere that she can, and well, she really wanted to like really show how special he was. So she wondered if her pet would be qualified for more than just one show title. So she applied for 2 things. One is the fastest 30 meter on a scooter by a dog. So she was positive that Norman would be able to beat the minimum. And then, let's see, they decided to test him out a few weeks later, and he did fantastic. He did it in 20.77 seconds. So he did pretty well. He broke that record for sure. And when it comes to learning new tricks, she was always mindful of Norman's well-being. She never forced him to learn anything, and he had to be willing to participate. And I'm always going to go back to this. It's not all about you. If your dog does not want to do it,
or it might hurt your dog, well, don't do it. That's all I have to say about that. But, it's a very difficult thing. Like, people can get impatient, and that leads to very bad negative energies. So it's just, sometimes you need to step back, calm down, and possibly return later. But, yeah, let's see. The other thing that she was requesting him to be, evaluated by was this kind of interesting skill of riding a bike. So fastest 30 meters on a bicycle by a dog. Yeah, amazing. 55.41 seconds. Dog on bike. I don't know. It's not strange. It's amazing. And you have to give Karen a hand at this, because teaching your dog to do, just about anything is going to take so much patience and consistency. And I think I've mentioned that a lot in other episodes. Like, you can't try to teach your dog something and then stop, because, well, it doesn't really reinforce anything. So I will say that a lot of this, I wouldn't say specialness, a lot of this talent coming from Norman, it's also due to his mom, right? Because he's not going to get on the bike by himself and teach himself how to ride. It takes two to tango in this particular thing. Now, in addition to just the biking and the scooter, he actually learned how to surf, longboard, jump rope, played basketball, and he also participated in dog sports such as, agility, obedience, barn hunting, herding, and so much more. This dog is, I don't even know. This is why I really wanted to save him for last, because he's just a very trainable, very intelligent dog that, is in the Guinness Book of World Records. And I don't know, I would love to see other individuals attempting to be successful at training their dogs these particular tricks. But again, if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. Leave them alone. What else is there? She could never imagine, any other animal as a pet. She absolutely loves Norman. And, I mean, what is there not to like? But the very unfortunate thing about Norman is that he is having a battle with lymphoma. He was diagnosed in June 2017, and the news was very difficult. But, I mean, he is going to chemotherapy and just kind of, he stopped taking chemotherapy because it was a strange amount of stress. Not a strange amount, but a lot of stress on him. And Karen decided to try getting a bone marrow transplant from one of Norman's siblings to help him fight the illness. And, well, his life just kind of started coming back. She was hoping that he would make a full recovery, and now she's just kind of making sure that he is okay. She's taking care of him, because, again, having a dog isn't all about, doing the tricks and stuff. It's, they're family. But, he's not quite back to being himself, but the last medical scans that he's had show no trace of circulating cancer cells. So hopefully that's, a sign of good news, right? But again, you can always take a look at, Norman, see how he's doing. This was from 3 years ago. So things may have changed at this point, which is pretty cool. But I guess that their entire family has really put so much effort into making Norman the dog that he is now. So I would be incredibly proud of him and be proud of myself for if I were able to do that. And I guess I'm able to do it. Maybe it's if I put the time and effort into it. But anyway, I mean, there is so much more that I need to do with Regina. Just, reinforcing the basic kind of stuff. And I'm gradually getting her to learn quiet. And I don't know if you guys know, but probably the first thing you have to do for your dog to teach them how to be quiet is to teach them how to speak on command first. Yeah. So at first it doesn't make sense, but it's like the association between quiet and speak, pretty much. So I can get into this much later. Maybe I can post about it too. But that is, what's going on today. And it looks like Aizen is about ready to head on out, and I guess I'm ready to head on out too. So, all I want to say is thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Pets Podcast. Again, we are brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. Now, we would love it if you subscribed and gave reviews for us. I've asked for some things that you can post for me, like dogs with very long tails, dogs with really long tongues, all that kind of stuff. So, subscribe and review, and then also we're on Facebook, we are on Twitter, and also Instagram. Please follow us, and we will be so happy to, share more information, I suppose. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. You have a wonderful night, and thank you so much.
You've been listening to the GSMC Pets Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all of the shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From movies to music, from sports to entertainment, from business news to weird news. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's podcast.